All right. Good morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time it may be. Today, I want to go over kind of our semester update. As you can see right over here, I have it conveniently listed. Now, SA2 is over. It's done with. You've already, hopefully, if you turned in your revisions, then that's that. You got them back. They're all graded. Check your email inboxes. I send those. I send all the drafts and revisions by email. Now, as far as submissions go, you can either email them directly to me or put them on D2L. Either way, is fine. I want to say again though, if you send them to me on D2L or email, either way, please do not send them as PDFs. It's very difficult for me to get in and make good comments. Basically, I have to reformat them. I know I can do comments through Adobe Reader, but you have to pay for that now, and personally, I'm not paying to grade your papers. If you want to get technical, y'all are technically paying for me to grade your papers, but please don't send PDFs. I mean, I can work with them. It's just not going to be as good for you. And as far as the feedback, that you're getting on the drafts, the feedback will generally not be as detailed as it could possibly be if you send it to me in a docx Microsoft Word document, because as I said, it does change the format. So I might be making comments about your format being incorrect when it was correct in the PDF. However, it's incorrect in the converted version. So do for yourself, not so much for me, for yourself, please send them as docx or doc, either one. I can do doc or docx style documents, but PDFs are to your disadvantage. I'll put it that way. Got a few notes down here, not too many, but I do want to make sure that I'm covering what I need to cover. So this is for classes for 1019 and 1020. So that's it. SA3 has already been assigned. I will be getting those back to you on hopefully, and I have to say hopefully because I can't predict the future of what may or may not happen, but if all goes to normal, I'll have them back to you by Friday the 23rd of this month. And then, as you can see here, your revisions are due on the 30th of this month. So, or by, if you get the revisions done earlier, y'all don't have to wait till the actual due date to send me stuff. If you have something done and you want to get it to me before then, that's fine. But those are the due dates. Now, there are some people who thankfully it's not very many, but some people have not turned in SA2 yet, or 3. It's not looking good. I tried to personally email everybody, but just in case you didn't check your email and you haven't turned in SA2 or 3, you might want to check your email, because I don't want to be discussing specific business for individual students on these videos. Now, SA4 I will be officially assigning on November 4th and November 5th. So that'll be Wednesday for the Monday, Wednesday, Friday classes, and the 4th of November, and on Thursday, November 5th for the Tuesday, Thursday class. Now I will get them back to you for the Monday, Wednesday, Friday on the 11th, and the Tuesday, Thursday class, I'll get them back to you by November 12th. Now, I want to get SA4 back as soon as possible because this is a research paper. SA4 is going to be a research-based argument, or I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. A research-supported argument. Okay, you're not going to base your argument on the research, you're going to support your argument with research. Now, Your argument is just something that it's that simple. Something that can be argued for or against. It can be a current issue, which I would prefer. I don't want you to be arguing something that has been resolved a long, long time ago. For instance, if I just off the top of my head, you should not write an argumentative research paper that women in the United States should have the right to vote. They already do. That's not your. That would be a pointless argument. Okay, that would be absolutely pointless to argue for something that's already there. You know, it's like if some of you, you know, may or may not. Some of you may have kids out there, and depending on the age of your kids, you may have run into something where you they've asked you for something like, hey, can I have this, or can I, and you say sure, no problem, and then for some strange reason and you give it to them and they have it in hand, and for some strange reason they want to sit there and continue to argue with you about why they should have it. You've already got it. So don't make your argumentative paper about something that already exists and is already there. Now I'm gonna sorry, I'm scratching my nose, y'all, not picking it, just a little scratch. But that does not mean you can't argue that something that already exists needs to be changed or improved. Or you could argue that something that does exist, that is currently active, needs to be deactivated. It needs to be deactivated. It needs to be done away with. Um, and these are just broad examples because I'm not going to give you specific topics. This may be selfish of me, but when I was a student, I absolutely hated when I was told to argue a certain way about a specific topic. And yes, I did have one single professor at a school that I'm not even going to name, but I did have one professor who would give us our topics and basically give us our thesis and make us argue for it, whether we agreed with it or not. And I personally did not like that because, yes, it made me make up an argument for something I didn't believe in, but I didn't feel right arguing for something that I was either flat out against or had no interest in or didn't care one way or the other. So I'm not going to do that to y'all. The topics are up to you. Now, if you want some suggestions, you can contact me personally. You can call me on the phone. You can email me. You can text me. If you text me, I'm probably going to email you back because that would take a little bit more effort than a text message could adequately cover. But if you can't think of a topic and you want some ideas, I'd be happy to help you with that. And you know, on the phone, we could just shoot ideas, bounce ideas back and forth off of each other. Through email, we could play email tag or whatever. So just let me know if you're not sure what you should do. Or as many of you have been doing, say you can email me with your ideas and say, hey, would this work? And I'm pretty sure that it's almost 100%, or it probably is 100% when some of you have emailed me and say, hey, for the analysis essay, I'm thinking about doing this. Would that be okay? And I responded, I think 100%, yeah, that sounds great. Maybe you could consider this angle or this, and thrown in, my little 2 cents. But it's ultimately up to you what y'all do for this. It could be something that's very, very serious, or it could be something that is maybe not so serious. It doesn't have to be something that is a life-changing event or life-altering event or piece of legislation, or that you don't even have to touch politics or you can stay as far away of that as you want. I personally don't really like to get into political arguments with people. It's just not really my bag. If they ask me to have a debate about something, yeah, I'm happy to do that. But this is just something that you feel should be done, something that should be improved. I mean, it's just an argumentative essay that has research backing it up. And I will say, I won't. I've already discussed, in I think the first or second video of the semester, what I won't flat out grade. I'm not gonna even touch anything that has to do with abuse of any kind of another human being. I won't touch that. I'll take it to my boss, let them decide. And that includes abuse of a physical, emotional, sexual, any of that stuff. I'm not gonna touch it. So that's off limits. Or it's not off limits. I simply won't grade it. I'll take it to my boss and say, hey, you can grade this if you want, and it's out of my hands. So stuff like that, just do yourself a favor and stay away from it. Now, when it comes to these argumentative essays, there are any person who's an English teacher at high school, college, whatever, heck, even, I guess nowadays, even middle school, topics that, again, they're not off limits. If you want to take your chances, you can. But topics that are just flat out generic, that have been done to death, they've been argued every single way possible, up, left, right, down, center, every angle has been attacked, has been defended, has been won, has been lost. The following topics, just stay away from. They're so generic and they're so boring for the teachers. And hey, the last thing you want us to be is just bored and going, oh my God, here we go again, when we're reading your papers. We're human beings. You know, we try to be as open as possible and just, but legalization of drugs of any kind. You know, already, you know, marijuana is legal all over the place now, not everywhere, blah, blah, blah. Who cares? I don't care what your thoughts are on it. I don't care if you smoke every day. I do not care. I don't care if you're against it. I do not care. It is the most done to death college essay in the history of college essays. Legalizing drugs. It's just a completely generic argument. You're not going to do anything original. You're not going to come up with something and have anyone on planet Earth who's read any essays about this before, any English teacher go, oh my God, I never thought of that. That's a novel idea. It's just a completely generic topic. Don't do it. Just do yourself a favor. Think of something even remotely original. The death penalty. Again, it doesn't matter what I think about the issues y'all write about. If you write a good, compelling essay, you're going to get a good grade, whether I agree with you or not. If you write a horrible essay of something that I'm totally for, you're going to get a bad grade on it. The death penalty, again, I don't care. You're not going to come up with a new argument. It's going to be something that's already been done for or against. It doesn't matter what your position is. It's been done to death. Uh, I guess that was an unintentional pun, but I'll take it. Uh, and plus, you know, the death penalty is such a polarizing issue. Your chances of convincing someone who is for the death penalty, who is pro-death penalty and supports it, your chances of changing their mind are so slim that the only people you're arguing for are people that already agree with you. People that are already on your team. They've already bought your product. You've already got them sold. You don't need to convince them. Those are pretty much the only people that are going to agree with whatever your position is. If you're for the death penalty, people that are for it are going to agree with you, no matter how dumb or how good your argument is. They already agree with you, so you don't have to convince them. People that are against the death penalty are going to disagree with your essay, no matter how compelling it is, and vice versa. If you're against the death penalty, chances are you're not going to convince anyone who's for it to go, oh yeah, you're right, now I'm against it. So these are just generic essays that English teachers at colleges and universities around the world don't like reading these, because you're not going to come up with anything new. Abortion is another one. Again, I don't care what your thoughts are on it. You shouldn't care what mine are. You're not going to come up with anything new. Whether you're for it or against it, you're not going to come up with a new argument. It's simply not going to happen. They're just boring. It doesn't matter. So, legalizing drugs, death penalty, abortion, those are just generic, super, seen it, heard it, read it, all before type of topics. So try to do something a little bit more original. Now, I'm not saying you can't, but I'm saying it wouldn't be a very good idea because you're not going to blow anybody away with it. It'll just be another boring run-of-the-mill, okay, let me guess, this reason, this reason, this reason. And it doesn't matter, pro, against, for, whatever, it doesn't matter. It's a been there, done that, seen that, read that. So I think I've probably got that point across by now. So that's the main things I want to cover about this upcoming essay. Now, as far as how you structure it, I want to do a much more detailed class video on possible ways to structure. Now, there is the satirical option. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you clearly haven't been watching the other videos. Or I'm sorry, the satire was for the problem solution. You're not allowed to do any satire anymore. That was only for the problem solution. That's what I meant to say. This has to be a real, serious, argumentative essay. So your topic needs to be something that you care enough about that you're going to put the effort into it to do the research. I am going to do another video focusing heavily on research, even though I've done it once or twice already. This is super important. You all, no matter what you're going into for your majors, you're going to have to know how to do effective research. And this paper, Essay 4, is a research paper. Essays 2 and 3, it was optional. If you wanted to do it, you could do it. The works cited page and the internal citations on this essay have to be correct. In the last two, essays 2 and 3, I didn't count it against you very much. On the draft, I went through and corrected it for you and said, hey, on this one, I'm going to be very strict with format. Your MLA format has got to be correct. Your works cited has got to be correct. And your internal citations have to be correct. So I am going to spend some more time on that, on how to conduct effective and proper correct research. So whatever your topic is going to determine how you do your research. If you're doing something that has to do with science or medicine, you're going to have, for instance, if you're doing something about new treatments for diseases or something like that, your sources have a time limit on them. You can't use sources if you're arguing for some kind of new treatment that's coming out and the article that you're citing is from 1996. Well, it was new in 1996. It's not new in 2020, soon to be 2021. So you have to be very careful with how you choose your sources on these research papers. You have to be careful what kind of sources you choose. If you're quoting statistics or studies, you need to make sure that they're coming from reliable sources. So I am going to spend some time going over how to find current research and how to do an overall judgment on whether it's reliable or not. And usually that's easier by giving examples of what not to do and what to do, focusing more heavily on what not to do because the internet is so big and there's a lot of bad information on there. So I'm going to be going over that in the next couple of videos in much more detail. Today is basically just an update on where we are now. Essay 4, again, I'm going to assign it on Wednesday, November 4th and Thursday, November 5th. I'll return them on the 11th and the 12th. Now, those will be your first drafts. Please get first drafts to me. So, some of you have been turning in the essays when not giving me rough drafts and just giving me a final draft the day that the revisions are due. Well, that automatically becomes your final draft. And a few of those I know, had they turned in rough drafts, would have gotten much higher grades had they gotten feedback and the chance to revise. This one is the most serious due date that I have given all semester. All revisions for SA4, and I'll keep saying this in pretty much every video from here on out, are going to be due on 11/22, November 22nd, by 11:59 p.m. Absolutely no exceptions after that. I have to have your final grades done. That is the end of final exams. That is the end of everything. And this essay is your final exam, by the way, y'all. Had this been a regular semester, you all would have had an in-class midterm and an in-class final. So maybe, I guess I'm going to go ahead and just guess and assume, which I tell you not to do, and I'm doing right now. But I'm going to go ahead and guess that the majority of you are happy that you did not have to take an in-class midterm and an in-class final. So that means this essay will be your final. And that's why I'm trying to get it here. That's why I've got these dates here as early as possible, so that I can give you as much time to get this final research paper in as good a shape as you possibly can. Not now for very few of you, okay? For very few of you, the majority of you are doing what you're supposed to be doing on time, and you're doing absolutely fine in the class. But for a few of you, this fourth essay is going to be the absolute deciding factor of whether or not you pass the class. It is the make or break type thing. But for most of you, it's not. That doesn't mean give up. That means keep doing what you've been doing. And I suppose that's about, I know this is kind of a short video and I've just been kind of talking rapidly, but I did want to get all this stuff out there because I want y'all to know we are getting a lot closer than it seems to the end of the semester. And I want everybody to be a success. I want you guys to do as good as you possibly can, and I want you to do as good as you want to do. But it's a two-way street. And I just want y'all to be informed and prepared, and that's it. So not going to do any little grammar exercises today or any specific stuff. I'm just giving you a rundown of this is where we are. The finish line is in view. You can see that little piece of tape that you can run through at the end. You can just barely see it off in the horizon. Keep focused. Keep looking straight ahead. Keep working. Get it done and do as good as you possibly can. That's all I'm asking. And I will see you guys in the next video.